Welcome to the Heat versus the World podcast. And now, stand up and make some noise for your host, Joe Jacob.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joel Jacob, and with me today, I'm joined by Anthony, J-Kel, and Alex. And we got a great episode for you guys. I know the Heat are coming off of an L, but these last two games have been kind of eventful anyways, because first off, you have the game against Chicago, and I was kind of pissed off because we lost that first game against them, but y'all know the Heat. I mean, you just kind of have to accept it how it is with this squad. They are going to lose games to trash teams, whether you like it or not, especially when you consider that this is the same team that literally just beat Philly last night, too. So that all being said, it is what it is with that. I'm sorry, y'all. My bird chirping nonstop because he kind of pissed off about what happened last night. But it is what it is. So we go into this next game against Chicago, and I'm not even going to talk about anything that happened during it because I'm only focused on the way how the game ended. Jimmy Buckets, y'all. Jimmy Buckets with the game winner. I was ecstatic after that. Like, to see him go out there and have a type of, highlight that you probably wouldn't expect from him unless it's the playoffs. It's still great to see it because people was already starting to sleep on Jimmy. It's like people forgot how this program works, okay? Jimmy struggles in the regular season, and then he cooks people in the playoffs. You still have people not knowing how this thing works with him, and you see people being like, oh my gosh, I think Jimmy is starting to regress, guys. Like, I don't know if we're going to get the same Jimmy from last year or the year before in the playoffs in this upcoming postseason because he's showing signs of regressing. Like, y'all don't understand the program by now. Y'all going to say this stuff then, and then when it's time for the actual playoffs and he's cooking guys like Giannis and Jason Tatum again, y'all going to sit there posting, oh, Jim VP, that's why he's the GOAT. When y'all was sitting here saying all this trash about him in the regular season. We see y'all, and I be taking screenshots of some of y'all's tweets. So don't act like come playoff time, I'm going to see that stuff and not act like you was talking mad smack before all this stuff started taking place. Nah, it don't matter if you delete the tweet or not. I'm going to be there looking at those screenshots of you saying that Jimmy about to retire real soon or that Jimmy's already reaching that washed stage of his career. I see all of it, but we're not going to post it just yet because it's not time. We still got a long season ahead of us. But yeah, that happened. And last but not least, last night's game. Unfortunately, it was another blown lead for the Heat. Like I said, we're Heat fans. We're used to it. We were up by 17 at one point, and even then, after a great first half, dropping 65 points on one of the best defensive teams in the league right now, everything kind of fell apart in that second half, and as you'd expect, we ended up losing the game. So it's this second half thing for the Heat. They do have to figure it out, especially in that fourth quarter, and hopefully they do. I've been saying in the group chat and to everyone else that this team is just getting this stuff out of their system now so that they don't run into this issue come the playoff time. And I'm going to believe that, all right? And y'all got to remember, this is the Timberwolves we're talking about. The Heat are never beating the Timberwolves in a regular season game. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if y'all have any expectations on a Heat win whenever we play that squad, I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, that's just how it is with this team. It doesn't mean that we're not bad. It just means that we just simply can't beat them because they take these games against Jimmy very personally. You just got to bounce back and go from there. But aside from that, I know I've been hogging the mic a little too long, so I'm going to start off with you, Anthony. How have these last few games felt for you?
I mean, starting with that buzzer beater, Jimmy called it. I don't know if either of you guys saw that, but Jimmy had said, I think it was in late November, when he missed the shot against the Knicks, he came out in the post-game interview. He was like, I'm going to make the next one, though. And then, lo and behold, Jimmy comes out and he makes the next one. I think that just speaks volume of Jimmy's confidence in himself, along with the rest of his team. I mean, he's always given praise to his teammates, but I mean, everyone knows that Jimmy is one of the most confident guys in the league, and he just proves time and time again that he has the right to be. And then moving forward to last night's game against the Timberwolves, not usually the guy to be optimistic when the Heat lose, but I was happy with how we played despite the blown lead, right? I mean, you have to look at it this way. Tyler and Bam's first game back, still no Haywood, no Kyle. I mean, Kyle and Haywood's both start on typical nights. Like, they're both starters on a good day. Like, missing two starters, two of your best players coming back from injury, and you only lose to arguably the best team in the NBA by 4 points. I can't complain.
Right, and it feels kind of weird that we have to call the Timberwolves that. Like, what dimension are we living in where we're calling the Timberwolves one of the best teams in the league, man? Like, I mean, like you're right for saying that because they do have one of the best records, but I low key wanted to vomit while hearing that.
It's weird to say, even for me. It's so weird.
Man, but like they go and fizzle out in the playoffs like they usually do. So it is what it is. Alex, how about you, man?
Say, it's been a interesting week. Well, we beat the Hornets those two times, and then lost, and then Jimmy hit the game winner, which was obviously fun for everybody. And then, yeah, last night's game, it was kind of sort of, it really showed me that, like, all right, the Timberwolves are legit. Like, Gobert and Towns, they're playing well together. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is an absolute monster. And man, it was rough, like you said. Like, we was up 17, and that was in the second quarter. But then just to see it go downhill in the second half, it was like, okay, here we go again. Which I think I tweeted that during the game, like, here we go again with this craziness. But yeah, it's as you can see under my name. I feel like some stuff needs to be changed, but I've been feeling that way. But we'll get into that a little later.
Right. And I'll say this. You said the Timberwolves are legit. I'm a just say this, man. No, they're not. I'm sorry. I'm a hater, bro. I'm a hater. So, like I hear them losers still talking on Jimmy's name to this day. So I gotta hate, man. It's just the human inside of me. They are not legit. I don't care what they are, man. They could be number one in defense, offense, whatever, man. They stink. I don't let last.
I give them that they're a legit regular season team. Like,
yeah.
like you said, like,
I was about to say that. About to say regular season.
I don't expect them to really make noise in the playoffs or anything, but like, that's a team who they're gonna win a whole lot of regular season games as they already have.
Right. And
it almost reminds me of Memphis, like 5-6 years ago. Like, I feel like they're very comparable to like how they would have success, or even more recently, like Utah, like how Utah looked when they had Mitchell and Gobert. I mean, they were constantly at the top of the West, and now Gobert goes to a different team, and they're doing that again.
Yep. But I'll pass the mic to you, JKL. But Anthony mentioned a name that you mentioned needing a number one option, Alex, and I don't know, there was a certain name that you mentioned, Anthony, that we could talk about because I know NBA Central tweeted something, but I don't want to get my hopes up, man, because I've had my heart broken so many times, but it's like you
I don't want him. I know who you're talking about. I don't want him.
Okay, we can't do this early in the show, man, because it's going to change. It's going to take everything off course. So I'm not going to respond to that just yet. Only when it's time. JKL, the mic is yours, man.
Yeah. So the two games in Charlotte, yeah, they were pretty forgettable. They were like scheduled wins, as I refer to them as. And then the loss to Chicago, a scheduled loss, if you want to refer to it as that. Like you said, the Jimmy step back three, that was cool. I was nervous watching that take place because I've seen that not work out more times than it has in a regular season with Jimmy. So I kind of was not expecting that to go in. But nevertheless, it was fun to watch. Now, last night's game with Tyler and Bam both coming back and being healthy, I think Tyler's first game back was really good. He's doing like a lot. He's not doing too much. He's fitting and he's playing within the flow of the offense. Like, I know, like we had this whole joke and the whole graphic about when Tyler's leading the team and scoring, the team is normally losing. But I attribute that to Jimmy's play early in the or like in those like first 7 games when Tyler was scoring. I attribute that to Jimmy's play is why we didn't win. Because during his regular season so far, he's been sleepwalking. It's frustrating to watch, man. And like I said, I don't care. He's earned the right to do that, but it doesn't get any less frustrating to watch him just go out there and not care about the like anything that's happening out there. And it's especially frustrating in certain games where if he just gave you a little bit more, they probably could win. But other than that, this team, if as long as they can get to the playoffs, it doesn't really bother me what they do in the regular season. Get to the playoffs, handle business from there. That's all I care about for the most part.
That final line right there was straight bars because for me, I mean, I don't know if it's just the high down feeling from what this team accomplished last year, but to see them do what they did, be the 8th seed, and yet y'all still find a way to beat the Bucks. You know, no home court advantage, nothing. You do the same thing against the Knicks. Everyone did that talk about how are they supposed to win in an atmosphere like Madison Square Garden. You know, then you go out there and you do it again, but this time in TD Garden against the Celtics and win, a huge game 7 on their floor as well. This all just goes to show, like, just send this team to the playoffs, and it doesn't matter what their record is. Whether if they finish the season like what, 15 and 67, I mean, God forbid that don't happen. But as long as they got a playoff spot, this squad is gonna be fine no matter what. Which is why I don't really have stress with this team, regardless of the W's or L's at this point. Because I was ready to pull my hair out at this point of the season last year, only to watch this team go to the finals. So by all means, like as long as this team can go out there and do their thing when the wins are gonna actually matter, and obviously I'm talking about when the team that gets those first 16 games gets to hold up that Larry O'Brien trophy. I don't care what happens in these, upcoming how many games we have left for the Heat in the regular season. Do what y'all gotta do. Do whatever you can to prepare yourselves because like I mentioned before, you look at the fact that they're still trying to figure stuff out, in that second half, especially in the fourth quarter. And I'd rather them do it now than run into these issues come the postseason. Because last year we were so pissed off about the fact that the Heat were constantly getting put into these clutch game situations. But the thing y'all gotta understand was that the clutch games really helped the Heat, like come the postseason. They were so prepared being in a clutch game essentially every night that this was nothing new for them. They were ready to go out there and do their things. So for Miami now, like I when I look at these situations, this goes back to what I said before, where they're getting it out their system now before the playoffs because at least they're getting better prepared. You have a mastermind in Spo. He's gonna be in the film room all the way till maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, figuring out all types of strategies, decisions, and all types of stuff to fix whatever issue Miami's dealing with. And has he been able to find that issue just yet? We'll find out, but eventually he will, and we'll see this team at its very best when he does it. Because one thing we've said on this show over and over again is that this team, the way how they're constructed right now, this does look like it has the potential to be one of the deepest, if not the deepest, Heat team in the Jimmy Butler era. So when you have a guy like Spo, who is a complete mastermind in bringing the best out of their players, you can't help but feel comfortable in what this team could do, especially with what you mentioned, J. Kell, at that very end. Like, just wait till the playoffs because honestly, you can't take anything this team takes seriously in the regular season. So before we continue, is there anything you guys want to add on to the convo?
I just think the Heat's biggest problem is something Spo can't even control, which is injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, Bam's missed, I think, 8 or 9 games this season, if not more than that. And then Tyler missed 18 straight.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it's hard to win games without 2 of your top 3 players.
And like you mentioned earlier, like you had the fact that Haywood was out and Kyle was out. Like it's insane because those games we lost Chicago and the games before that, we were like -3 starters, right? Because you didn't have Haywood, you didn't have Bam, and you didn't have Tyler. And while Bam and Tyler come back, now Kyle is out. So it's like now you're missing another starter from your equation, and it's gonna be something that I hope the Heat can I don't know, because it's injuries, man. Like obviously, no matter how hard you try to avoid it, it's like not something like you can just easily do. So I can't even sound too optimistic with that, because this has been something that he has battled with for so long. We've seen it in the past seasons where a couple guys get injuries here and there. All I ask is the same thing that I ask in the postseason. Try not to do it there, man. Like I do not need to see Tyler breaking his hand because of another hustle type play. I do not want to see Bam, Jimmy, or anyone get injured. If Josh Hart tries that same crap he tries last year, there's gonna be trouble with me, man. I'm gonna have a serious issue with that dude. Okay, I still got beef with him for what he did last year, but it's gonna be so much worse if he tries that again this year. Okay, I'm not gonna lose prime Michael Jordan because of the fact that you wanted to flop into his ankle like that. So by all means, please don't try that same nonsense again this year, Josh Hart. Do not try us this year. With that being said, does anyone want to add something else?
Yeah, yeah, to piggyback off the injuries thing, that's definitely something that's an issue and out of sports control. It was the same issue that we were having last year around this time.
Yeah.
We had we were dealing with injuries. Big part of the reason why we came in at such a low seed. You don't have too many years like the season before that, the 2022 season, where we had a lot of injuries going on. But Kyle Lowry and like the bench unit and G leaguers was going crazy for like the month of December and January. You don't
Yep.
get too many seasons like that. So when you're dealing with a bunch of injuries at once, yeah, it's hard to pretty much rack up wins, and you just could hope that everybody could be healthy in time for when the games count. Another thing though that I do think that there's some control over, but I just don't think they figured it out is the late game execution. That's one of the team's biggest problems. It's been that way for like the past few seasons now. They can't hold on to a lead in the fourth quarter, and then in clutch situations, they can't execute half the time properly. It's frustrating to watch.
Right. Like, and that's the thing because I don't know, like everyone's making the joke that we went from having third quarters to or what they're referring to as fart quarters now. So take that as you will. And it's like, I don't know, that's just been the issue for the squad for so long. But like I said before, if the Heat can find a way to figure this stuff out, I mean, we have so much basketball left to be played, and I do trust Spo. I know it's not going to be easy, and you might have to tinker around with some of these lineups and stuff to see what's the best closing five to work with. But assuming that you have a mastermind like him who can figure it out, like I said, a type of guy that's probably going to be up till 4 a.m. in the film room just to figure these types of stuff out. If you can go out and settle it by now and then wait and then go through your issues now and then have it all settled out come playoff time, by all means, like I'm gonna be cool with it. Just go through whatever many games you have to go through just to figure it out, because it's the regular season, and like I said, I'm chill right now because these games don't count. Like last year's team taught me so many lessons that I'm starting to take into this year. So by all means, I'm not stressing about anything, but take these games in for study. Go out there and see what you're doing wrong. See what you're not doing right in the fourth quarter, because it looks like a mess right now. I don't know if y'all saw like an insane stat about like the Heat's plus minus per quarter, but apparently it's like really bad for the fourth. It's like minus 96 or something like that. So that's insane to even think about. But for this squad, like I said, I trust Spo. Hopefully he can figure something out. And we just gotta be patient with it, man. Like we still got a long season ahead of us. And hopefully by the time April comes around, we'll have that settled. So yeah, like I'm definitely worried about it too, because I don't want to see our team like have any of these types of issues. But, like I said, just trust Spo and then hope for the best. Does anyone else want to throw something in before we move on? All right. So with all of that going on, let's now dive into some of the other stuff that's going around in the league. And let's see, so much has been going on. Like you have Jaime. I know it was announced earlier that he won Rookie of the Month for the Eastern Conference. I mean, we still running with the listen. If y'all don't want to say he's the best rookie in the league, I'll take saying that he's the best rookie in the Eastern Conference at least. Okay, so he's gonna keep stacking up those Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month awards. So I'm gonna be chill with that. So you got Jaime doing his thing, and I just want to know from you guys, like, how impressed have y'all been with his performance lately? Because I know we've talked about Jaime so much in some of these recent episodes, but I just continue to see him grow so much that it's starting to please me to the point where I really feel comfortable with this dude. Where, even when playoffs come around, I can see him getting big minutes because the dude has been amazing. Yesterday he had some great defensive moments. I don't know if y'all saw that one play where he blocked Cat first, and then I think it was McDaniels who got the rebound, and then he got swatted by Jaime too. Like the dude just has so much potential, and I'm telling you, him, Bam, and Tyler are gonna be a great, future cornerstone for the squad, man. Like I'm so excited for to see what more this kid could do. Everyone's saying he's basically Mexican Jimmy, and I cannot agree anymore. I mean, like, how have y'all felt about his performance? Alex, you can start us off.
Um, Jaime is a man. He's been a godsend for real. Been able to come off the bench and have a nice amount of big performances. I know last night he only finished with 8 points, so his streak of double digits I think stopped at 13. But like I think there was a quote from Jimmy from like a week or so ago where he was just like that Jaime is basically learning stuff so fast that it's certain stuff that he's learning and taking in that Jimmy didn't understand until he was like 27, 28 years old. And Jaime is getting a crash course, one, because of the fact that, I mean, he said Jimmy was his favorite player coming out, and now he's sitting there getting to practice and be around him and everything. And man, he's just like those 4 years at UCLA. They did a really good job helping him be ready for the NBA game. I know a lot of teams and front offices, they don't like going for older guys, but Jaime was basically he's perfect. He's NBA ready from day one, and I attribute that to his 4 years at UCLA. So I'm very excited to see how he continues to grow in his Heat career.
Right. And J. Kel, how about you, man?
Look, man, that man Juan Wick has been special. The footwork, spectacular, man. His IQ, amazing. Like he knows where he's supposed to be at. I consistently see him making the right plays on both sides of the ball. It's like I really don't have much to complain about with him. It's hard to nitpick with him. He's just like overall, he's a basketball player. They made the right draft. They definitely and he what better situation could he have been drafted into to be mentored by your favorite player that you model your game after. And so with not only that, but then you have one of the greatest coaches of all time helping you develop your game. So I think further down the line, Jaime is gonna be really special. I don't wanna like put certain expectations on him too early on, but I definitely see that he's gonna be special. Like he's nice.
For sure. And then Anthony, how about you, man? You hopping on the one week bandwagon?
I mean, it's hard not to. I think it was Alex that said his double digit scoring streak broke, right? The fact that we're having that conversation alone speaks volumes of how he's performed. Like the fact that it's considered a disappointing night for this guy when he has 8 points, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Like the fact that that's considered a disappointment is all you need to do. It's all you need to say. I mean, Alex and J. Kell did a great job summarizing everything else.
Right. And I mean, one thing I just want to say is like, not only is he getting like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's just looking amazing on the court, and you see it in all the reps that he's getting right now. But now he's starting to have a little influence in the media right now. I don't know if y'all saw
You
them
talking
things.
about that offset play?
Yeah. I,
Yeah, I
okay,
saw
man.
that.
That's my rookie of the year right there. All right. Let me know when I see Scoot, Chet, or any of them others, going to Offset or whoever's birthday party, man. Until I see some of them picks drop, y'all can't tell me nothing, okay? Like when I saw them things drop, I'm like, all right, like that's my rookie right there, man. I was proud of my guy when I saw that. Like, okay, man. Shout out. So yeah, shout outs to Jaime. Continue doing your thing, bro. Continue to cook. I'm a little pissed that the streak did end because I remember they literally interviewed him after that game. I think it was against literally the game before the streak even broke. After that game against Brooklyn, they're like, "Yo, like you're very close to like breaking D Wade's record. How you feel about that?" And I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome." But I'm trying to like win and stuff. And obviously when they asked that, boom, the streak ends. But it is what it is. We trying to win a championship. We don't care about no record, so it is what it is. But yeah, shout outs to Jaime, and we've talked about a lot in today's episode. I won't talk about the trade rumors or that other stuff just yet. I know people were probably going a little crazy because they saw that the Heat are allegedly gonna go after a certain guy if a certain team makes him available. Anthony almost tried to dive into it earlier, but I won't do it just yet because first of all, I don't even want to talk about it because I'm still healing from the Dame stuff. And yeah, so I won't get into those convos just yet at this moment. But you know, before we wrap up today's episode, let's talk about this Heat and Magic game because we're in for a fun one. These teams always go to war because of this whole battle for Florida thing, acting like we don't know who runs Florida by now. But yeah, Orlando actually looks like a good team this year. They've actually played some solid basketball, and I'm not gonna lie, if it wasn't for like the Sunshine State rivalry they try to do, I'd probably be proud of them, because you see the stuff they go through with, Dwight Howard, even when how things went with Shaq left for the Lakers. I mean, they now are in this situation where they have a good squad to build around. Shout outs to all the guys that's on that team. You got Franz Wagner. I'll be mispronouncing some of these players' names. Paolo Banchero and all of them. Like they've been out there doing their thing, and the Heat are gonna have a heck of a fight against this squad because one thing we know is that Jimmy isn't gonna be playing, so there's that. What is this? Was anyone else able to look at the injury report? Like aside from Jimmy, who else is gonna miss that game? Is it like just Jimmy or?
Right now it still says Kyle is out, but
Uh,
we're not sure if that's going to be updated within the next day or so before the game happens. But right now it just says that obviously Drew Smith is done, but Kyle and Drew are the only two guys who are on the injury report at the moment.
but yeah, another situation where you're gonna be potentially be out two starters with Jimmy and Kyle missing this game. And well, so wait, is Hayward gonna play too, or is that?
I think he is. He actually did play last night though, but he didn't feel like much because of the fact that I think he played what 12 minutes, had
Uh,
one assist, one block, one steal. But yeah,
oh, what he did play? I remember it now.
I
Okay,
said
so
yeah,
we
because
we were just down one start then, but even
mm-hmm,
then, man, I mean, like I said, Timberwolves scheduled out. Who cares? But yeah, you're gonna be out two starters for that game, and one of them is Jimmy. So, because y'all know Orlando plays like it's the NBA Finals. Like they want to act like it's the '96 Bulls. Whenever they play against the Heat. So
mm-hmm.
jeez, man. I don't know. If we can win that, I don't care how young they are as a team. I don't care how inexperienced they are. That should tell me they're contenders because to beat the Magic is still a huge accomplishment, knowing how hard they play against the Heat. But with all of that being acknowledged, I want to know what's y'all's expectations for this game. We'll start off with you, J. Kel.
So with Jimmy being out, I actually think this game is going to be entertaining to watch. Jimmy plays an old man, slow basketball type of game. When he's not with the young guys, they like to run. The offense is a lot faster paced. Is much more entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. So I think the game will be exciting. Orlando is doing pretty good, and they try hards when it comes to playing the Heats.
Yeah.
So they're gonna act like it's game 7. But Shout out to Orlando though, because I'm actually all for like smaller market teams succeeding. Like I like what Minnesota's doing. I like what Indiana's been doing this year too. So I like watching small market teams actually succeed and thrive. I need the league to be shaken up more. I'm always tired of seeing like the same teams constantly in contention, constantly at the top of the league. So it's fresh to see a young team like them do well. But they're not gonna do anything in the playoffs just like Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, listen, shout outs to Orlando. I mean, y'all finally having a good season after like so many years. I mean, what? It's been like, let's see, almost the Obama administration since they had a winning record. Or you know what? Maybe they had a winning record with I think it was 2019 when they made it to the playoffs, maybe by then. But they're actually playing some solid basketball and not like maybe 7 or 8 seed hoops for the first time since the Obama administration. So shout outs to them for actually looking good for now. We'll see if it lasts for the full 82 games. Like I said, y'all, I mean, I know, like you mentioned, Jay, like this is what's the word? Small market team, so you can't really root against them, but it's the hater inside me. I'm sorry. Anthony, what's your expectations though?
I mean, you want to talk about a team with depth? I mean, they're right up near the top of the league. Um, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, both been playing great basketball. Markel Fultz even's been looking solid. He's questionable, I think. Anthony Black hasn't looked great as a rookie, but I mean, they have so much depth, and it's going to be an entertaining game for sure, especially with Jimmy out, like Jay Kell said. Um, I think what the difference is going to be is they're not the biggest team. They have Goga Bitstade down there, or however you pronounce his name. I just don't know how he'll match up against Bam. Obviously Bam's not the biggest guy, but he acts like he is. So, I think that's where we're gonna get our advantage with in the paint with Bam.
I agree. And Alex, you?
Say, with Jimmy being out, obviously somebody got to step up into that role. So I'm expecting either Caleb or Jaime to hopefully step up and have big games tomorrow. Hopefully, hopefully, Tyler can have a pretty good game. I mean, he played well last night, and now he's getting the opportunity without Jimmy being there tomorrow. So he's gonna have the ball in his hands even more. Obviously, depending on if Kyle plays or not, you know how Kyle gets when somebody's out. Like Kyle, he'll definitely be looking to be more aggressive. So it's gonna be a fun game. Like everybody's talking about the fact that the Magic, they definitely get up to play us, and they've been playing well. It's 16-9 right now with their last two losses coming to the Celtics in pretty tough games. So I'm excited to see Paolo play. Um, I've been a fan of his since he was at Duke. He's a really good player, really good young guy. Like everybody's saying, Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs, they've been playing well. Franz is tough. It's gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be a fun game, guys.
I mean, with the Heat and Magic, man, I wouldn't call them fun games because I'd be stressed out talking about. I mean, listen, those battles in the past was annoying, man, because you'll see Terrence Ross go off for like 50 points against us, and it's like, bro, you're not him.
Thank
When I
God he retired. Thank
Yeah,
God
I
he.
was just about to say that. Like when I saw that man decided to announce his retirement, I'm like, thank God, bro. Because when I saw you sign with the Suns last year, I was like, bro, if we play the Suns in the finals, I don't think my mental health is ever gonna handle him having like averaging 30 points a game in the finals match against us. Like watch him get finals MVP in the Andre Iguodala type role where even though he's clearly not the best player, they still give it to him because he goes out there and just flat out cooks the Heat. So enjoy your retirement, Terrence Ross. We're not, yeah, we're not gonna miss you. I'm not even gonna try to act nice with that. Go do your own thing there. I'm glad that OG squad not there because him, Evan Fournier, and I mean, listen, Gordon, AG, that man still pissed me off because of what he did against the Heat in the finals, but we're not going to talk about that. But bottom line, man, like none of those random scrub heat killers are there anymore. Let's not try to build some new ones up with this current squad because we're not trying to pass the baton to nobody, all right? Please. I understand Orlando's been a good team, Miami, but let's handle business. Let's keep the wins going. Let's bounce back from this L against Minnesota. And let's try to get closer to, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't even care about regular season. We doing this pod anyways because we want to put content out for y'all, of course. But I mean, yeah, Miami win however many games you want to win. And I'm just gonna be worried about how much wins y'all have come playoff time. Because if it's not 16, as this team usually say, it's kind of like a waste, if you're not winning the whole championship. So Miami, go out there, do what you gotta do, and we'll talk about it on the next episode come next week. Is there anything y'all want to say before we hop off? All right.
Oh, real quick. Yeah, we don't hand the torch to random heat scrub killers. They come take it, my brother. Um, they wake up that day when they see that they play in Miami, and they wake up with a different aura to themselves, one that they had not had before, and something just takes over them when they play the Heat.
I mean,
Nothing they can do about it.
you're right. I mean, Io DeSunmu, man. Like, can we talk about that dude for Chicago? Like that when
Yo,
they said on that broadcast, that man only was averaging like 6 to 7 points a game, and then you gonna tell me he's gonna drop 23 on us? Like
and
this.
he will not put that up again.
Yeah. I don't even want to see what his stat lines have been for these last couple of games because I know I'm gonna be sick looking at that. And then you talk about TJ McConnell. I mean, I know that dude's been a dog low key, but that game against Indiana, bro. Well, yeah, against Indiana. Like that was so random because you had Halliburton who's out. So you have this guy who barely gets minutes come out and he's gonna drop 23 on us or whatever. Like y'all gotta be so freaking real with me right now. Like there's no way that we gonna sit here and allow this type of stuff to happen. But it's the Heat, of course they would, and yeah, I mean, like I said, as long as we're not allowing this come playoff time, by all means, put me through whatever trauma y'all want to put me through in the regular season. Because as long as we're in the playoffs, I won't care.
I'm
At this,
sorry, I had to look it up, but so I
Alex,
December. So it is starting December 6th through last night. I think he had a 8 points, 4 points, 0 points, 9, 24 versus the Heat, then only 8 versus the Heat, and he had 4 points last night. So
Telling you, they wake up with a different energy the day they gotta play the Heat.
he's
I don't,
averaging 6.9 points on this season, and he gave us 24
you
on
know,
10 of
That'll
12
be his
shooting.
season high. I almost
There
guarantee
was a
that.
two-way player on like the Nets. That was a game earlier this season. I forgot what his name was, but he was torturing us from three all game long. He has not played a
Talking
game
about
since.
Dorian Finney-Smith, was that who it was?
oh no,
No, no, no. He was like one of the two-way players.
yeah,
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, he came in and torched us, and he hasn't seen the court since.
that's insane, man. Why do we do this, man? Like. Miami, you know what? I appreciate the Heat for that. You know what? They want to be like Make a Wish and give some of these bum athletes a chance to have good games. So you know what? If y'all want to be like the NBA's version of Make a Wish and get the players who will never see much minutes on the floor have some good games here and there, by all means, that's what I love about y'all. Y'all want to be a nice charitable little organization that wants to let some of these bum athletes have their moments here and there. So I'm not going to look at these random scrub heat killers and be upset. I'm just going to look at it as Miami giving their type of charity to these guys, okay? Because you know what? We've done it in the past. Garrison Matthews, Washington Wizards. I don't know if y'all remember that game a couple years ago. They had that man looking like he was what? Clay Thompson, prime Clay, and now I don't know where the heck that dude is. I heard he was in Houston last time I checked, but I don't know if he's still on that squad no more. But yeah, I mean, shoot, it's like I said, it's charity at this point. Aside from that, man, is there anything else y'all want to mention before we wrap this up? All right. So, with that all being said, man, thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast. Make sure to follow us on all platforms at HVTW Podcast. Make sure to follow all of us on Twitter/X, whatever the heck y'all call it. Follow me at Joel K. Jacob _, Anthony at Anthony Passy, that's PASCI, Alex at _Coach Lewis 1, and JKel at JKel _smooth. And I mean, yeah, man, the Heat are going to continue doing their thing. And no matter how much they stress us out, no matter how much points a guy like Chuma Okeke might drop in this next game against us, we're still going to be doing pods because we love this team no matter how much they stress us out. So we hope y'all can continue supporting us as we constantly go out of our way to put our mental health on the line for this very team. With that all being said, man, thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast. And until next time, hit my music because we out.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time with a brand new episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast.